Hello, this is Dave Hurwitz, Executive Editor at ClassicsToday.com, here to talk to you about Carmen. Now, everybody loves Bizet, everybody loves Carmen. Where would we be without it? It's an opera, right? It's a ballet by Schedrin. It's an orchestral suite. It's a film score, if we want to use it for that. It's an Olympic skating event, which it still is, and quite popular too. I mean, it's just part of our life. Nietzsche liked it better than Wagner. I mean, Nietzsche, of all people. And Nietzsche didn't like anything. He liked Carmen. Mahler said that it was absolutely perfect, that you couldn't change a note of it. The score is just a miracle. I mean, no wonder Bizet dropped dead right after he wrote it. What else was he going to do? Anyway, I'd like to talk to you about the best versions of the orchestral suite. Now, as you probably know, every conductor in the world has recorded the Carmen Suites, usually coupled to the l'Arlésienne orchestral suites, which make a perfect package, actually. And quite frequently, no two versions are exactly the same. Some movements come and go. You can find a little bit more orchestral music that you can throw in there with or without the voices. There are a variety of ways to do it. So I'm not going to worry about whether or not the performances are all exactly the same. You get all the bits that matter. And the fact of the matter is, if I wanted to talk about all of the recordings or even a healthy selection of them, I'd have a stack of things, this high. But I'm not going to even worry about that. I'm only going to talk about three recordings that I think are just wonderful for, Carmen and the music and the performance and the sound. And they do all the things that you want Carmen to do. They have the rhythm, the color, the glitter, all of that. First of all, if you want more Carmen, but you don't want to listen to the complete opera, which I can understand, Morton Gould in 1960 did a Carmen without words. This is 45 minutes of music from the opera, and I think it's really quite lovely and lots of fun. And if you want more than the suites, this is the thing to get. If you really like the suites, there are two versions that I think are the best. Good old Leopold Stokowski. Now, as he liked to fiddle. He liked to try and rescore and redo and whatever. But on this disc of the Carmen and l'Arlésienne suites, the second suite is not entirely complete, but don't worry about it. He doesn't fiddle around. He just plays the music really, really excitingly, because at bottom, Stokowski was just a really exciting conductor. He wasn't a slow guy. He wasn't somebody who wanted to do, everything in a profound kind of way. He was in it for the joy and the gusto and the color. And as I said in a previous video, conductors come in chord guys and line guys. Line guys like counterpoint, chord guys like texture and sound. Stokowski was probably the ultimate chord guy. And Carmen is chord music. It doesn't have counterpoint. You don't have to worry about that. You just want gorgeous, gorgeous sonority and beautiful melodies. And that was Stokowski's thing. So that Sony recording, he was like, 175 when he made it. There you go. Definitely worth having. It's also in the Sony Stokowski box. However, excuse me, the best Carmen, for my money, is Igor Markevitch. First of all, it's the Spanish Radio Symphony Orchestra. So it's authentic Spanish people playing inauthentic Spanish music, because of course Bizet was French and never went to Spain, but it didn't make any difference because it's still the best Spanish music anyone else wrote. I mean, it's really kind of amazing that way. You also get Bolero here on this disc too, which is quite wonderful. And Markevitch was, he was a modern music guy. He liked Stravinsky. He liked sharpness and rhythm, and his music making was always unsentimental and detailed and precise and analytical, and somehow that fits the French aesthetic of Carmen because the orchestration itself is diamantine. It's chiseled to a fine point of brilliance, and that's the kind of performance that Markevitch delivers. I mean, the very opening, the Toreadors, that's, everyone's heard it, but it has timpani going bum ba da 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 bum ba da boom. He gets it to sound so macho the way he does it. It just has this rhythmic verve that's irresistible. So that's a great performance. And now I get to tell you my Carmen story, because I have played in the pit orchestra of this opera several times, and I remember vividly, in the scene where Carmen seduces Don Jose, we had a Carmen. Now, this was all community opera stuff, so how much should we have to put up with a wannabe diva, right, singing Carmen? I mean, this was her big opportunity. When she wasn't Carmen, she was probably issuing traffic tickets, or waiting tables. So, this was her chance to be a diva. And she specifically came up to me because in that scene, she's supposed to sing la, 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 and she's playing her castanets. Well, this particular Carmen did not know how to play castanets. Actually, most Carmens don't. They fake it. And it's the poor percussionist, moi, who is supposed to be playing the castanets while she's doing this with her fingers. So she said to me very obnoxiously, "Be sure to follow me with your castanets." And I looked at her and I said, "No problem." So we did rehearsals, and I followed her like, the expression is scatological. I won't use it. Like a fly on excrement, I was together with her little flapping fingers. But it wasn't enough. And she came to me and she said, "You weren't with me. You weren't together. I can't be nervous. You're not going to screw up this opportunity for me," as if this were her Met debut, right? I mean, come on, right? So, of course, we get to the performance, and she's sitting there, and she goes, la, 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 la. And I just sat there like this, And finally, she looks at me in horror, and she goes, la, 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 la. And I just sat there like this. And then finally, when she put down the castanets, I went, and the lesson is, do not screw with your percussionist or destiny. The same destiny that overtakes Carmen is going to overtake you as a wannabe diva. So those are my recommendations for Carmen, just for orchestra, where you don't have to deal with the diva. Thank you, folks, and keep on listening.